What happens when someone walks away to find themselves and returns to discover the person they left behind has moved on? She said she didn't want to be a wife anymore. When she came back, I wasn't her husband waiting. We were 10 years in, married for 7 together since college. It was a quiet Saturday, and I was folding laundry like usual when Lena spoke up. "Ethan, can we talk?" I didn't look up from the basket of her leggings and workout tops. "Sure, what's up?" "I've been feeling off. Crap. Like somewhere along the way, I stopped being me." I paused, slowly turned to look at her. "Okay. Want to talk about it?" She didn't sit down. "I don't want to be a wife right now. I need space. To figure out who I am." "What does that mean, Lena?" "I want to move back into my old apartment for a while. Maybe travel. Maybe that artist residency in Seattle. I've never really been alone as an adult. I went from my parents' house to college to being with you." She said it so calmly, as if this was some light spring cleaning and not a bomb dropped into our marriage. "And how long are you thinking?" I asked, trying to keep my voice level. I shrugged. 6 months. Maybe more. Until I find myself. And us. We're still married. That doesn't have to change. I just don't want to be a wife for now. I stared at her in silence. She had her suitcase already packed by the front door. She'd made up her mind before this conversation ever started. So I said the only thing that felt honest. "Then I hope you find what you're looking for." She smiled with relief, kissed me on the cheek, and left that Sunday. Rings on the dresser. Social media scrubbed clean. New handle, old maiden name, new captions. On a journey of rediscovery. Monday morning I called a lawyer. "I'm not sure if this is a divorce," I told him. "But I want to protect myself." The apartment was bought before marriage. In my name. Our finances were mostly separate, thankfully. He told me to document everything. Photos of her things gone, her rings left behind, texts and social media posts. So I did. Week 2. She posted from Seattle. Art classes, cafe selfies, new piercings, fresh buzzwords like healing, alignment, inner truth. Her mother called, confused. "Ethan, what is all this about Lena living in Seattle?" "You'll have to ask her. She's the one who didn't want to be a wife anymore." I wasn't falling apart. I wasn't angry. But I was unsure of what came next. So I started therapy. My therapist didn't sugarcoat it. She wants the security of marriage without the responsibility. "Are you okay with that?" "No," I answered. "That's why I'm here." 3 months in, she was living like a bohemian travel blogger. Mountains in Norway, vineyards in France, hostels in Spain. I was still handling her car insurance, mail, and calls from her dentist. But I changed too. I started working out. Learned to cook real meals, not her go-to takeout. I joined a photography class and signed up for woodworking. It's amazing how much time you have when you stop waiting for someone who already left. That's when I met Rachel. She was assigned to my project team at work. Professional, focused, but she actually showed up. For everything. A coffee after work turned into regular chats. Nothing romantic at first. But she laughed at my jokes. She listened. She was present. And I'd forgotten what that felt like. 4 months in, Lena's friend called. "She's worried," Jess said. "You're not replying to her messages. She sends travel updates. What response does sunset in Tuscany with sangria need? She says you seem distant. She wanted space. I'm giving it to her." Then, out of nowhere 8 months later, Lena returned. No heads up. Just appeared at my door with a tan, a nose ring, and a duffel bag. "I'm back." Opened the door. "Hey." She walked in like nothing had changed, until she saw that everything had. I'd redecorated. Turned the old spare room, what she once called her craft space, into a workshop. "You changed everything," she whispered. "Yeah." I moved on. We sat at the table. Felt like an interview. "I found myself," she said, like it was some triumphant announcement. "And I realized what I missed. I'm ready to be a wife again." Okay. That's all you have to say. I missed you for a while. Then I stopped waiting. Her smile faded. You didn't wait for me. You didn't want to be a wife. So I stopped being a husband. She tried to move back in that night. But the locks had been changed. Legal advice. Month 3. You're serious, she said, stunned. This is my home. You left it 8 months ago. This is our home. No. It was mine before we married. You walked out. Then the manipulation began. Tears. The texts at 2 a.m. The "Do you remember our wedding photos?" Her mother called. She made a mistake, Ethan. She made a choice. Her dad tried guilt. Marriage means forgiveness, son. It also means being there. She even tried showing up at my gym, my coffee shop, hoping to bump into me. This isn't a coincidence, Lena. You live 40 minutes away. Then came the smear campaign. Online posts painting me as cold, heartless. Left for mental health and came back to find my life gone. Problem was I had receipts. Storage receipts. Timestamp social posts. Text. Screenshots. Dated documentation. When she tried to claim spousal support, the judge raised an eyebrow. You voluntarily left your marital home for 8 months. I needed to grow. Were you working? I was on a creative sabbatical. Funded by your husband. Awkward silence. Final update. 1 year later. Divorce finalized 3 months ago. She fought, but truth isn't easy to rewrite. She got her stuff from storage. A tiny cut from our joint account. No support. At the final signing, she tried one last time. Ethan, we could fix this. Smiled. You went to find yourself. I found someone who never needed to leave in the first place. Rachel and I took things slow. She's not a rebound. She's a partner. She shows up for the boring parts. Sanding wood, grocery shopping, late nights with sore backs and DIY projects. Lena still sends the occasional "I miss us" message. I don't respond. Her mom called again last week. She's not doing well. I hope she figures out what to do with what she found. 'Cause I figured out what I want. Someone who stays. She said she didn't want to be a wife. I said I hoped she'd find what she was looking for. She found herself. Found peace. I found someone who never needed to walk away to know what she wanted. Funny how that works out.